Hey guys, it's Spaces Sins, and we are back with more Virche Evermore, continuing on Coffee's route. So, yeah, just there you go. We're continuing. And I look, I don't know when we're gonna find out that Salome's the queen, but like, she better fucking be. Like, damn, there's so much. There's so much that's gonna have to come out. We're probably going to spend hours at the end of this route, like, with all the reveals. But anyway, I was only trying my best to find a way to get rid of the curse so that someone dear to me could live a normal life. Oh, I hit the wrong button. Okay. I'm like, why didn't it transition? Just me not paying attention and hitting the B button, not the A one. Oh my god. But in doing so, I had stepped onto a path with unfathomable darkness ahead. The curse of death, or human evil, which was really to blame for the suffering of this country. Oh, we could have literally read those two lines and gotten into chapter 3. Whatever. Whatever. If I keep going, it's the Oh, okay, wait a minute. If I keep going, it's like 10 minutes later. If I don't, it's two lines. We were already over in the last part, weren't we? Anyway. This is a story of a foolish woman who became the founder of a certain order. Actually, didn't we find out that the founder of the Society of Exorcists was a woman? Wait. You're not going to try to tell me that was the queen. And that's okay. I'm fine with that if it's also Salome still. But, like, you can't not have, you can't be like, oh, the queen and then the founder of the Society, same person, Salome, totally different. You can't do that. Especially because Salome's backstory, she talked about her husband and her child or whatever. Like, she talked about that. I'm not crazy. I might be crazy. I'm insisting I'm not crazy because I feel like maybe I am, because I'm like, I remember that though, right? But you guys can't be like, yes. Because by the time you see this, it'll be long past the point of the reveals. So, like, you can't answer my question right now. You know what I mean? Your past selves can't answer my current self's question, and your current selves watching this can answer, but that's past me's problem. You know what I'm saying? Like, the timing's just going to be all off, and I'm going to know the answer beforehand. Like, before you get to this part, I'll know the answer to my question. So, like, right now, I just have to live in this question mark gray area of, like, am I crazy? Didn't she say that? Am I misremembering? I'm pretty sure I'm remembering right. You know? Anyway. Some referred to her as a goddess. She was graceful and intelligent, captivating her followers with beauty that could not be hidden by the veil covering her face. So why was this female minister known as a fool? The reason is simple. Her eyes did not see people for who they really were. She was easily fooled and betrayed and muttered, again, before being swallowed by the waves. Well, that's interesting. That sounds like the woman who is leading the Society of Exorcists, but are we going to say they're different people or they're all the same person? You know what I mean? Because, like, that's questionable. If they were like Catherine ran away, became the minister, they tried to kill her, and she's now Salome. Okay, cool. That's insanity. That's insane on top of insane, and I'm here for that. If it's a totally different person, I'd be like, okay, fine. I could accept that too. But then, like, there's no other women in this game for it to be, you know? Like, I mean, they did mention her, the person who ran the society before Forty came in, took over, and then now has just been Capucine and God knows how many other people in between, and will be God knows how many people. Um, hmm. Well, anyway. After reading the diary containing the curses and regret of the late queen, we put our lab coats on again and rejoined Dahut, who had just finished his meeting. I'd steal the diary. Nobody knows it's there. In the end, we were all able to leave the castle unscathed. If we stayed at the Institute, there was a chance that the Royal Guard would come after us, so we ended up returning to Adolphe's house, where we decided to share the information we found with Dahut. Queen Christine succeeded the throne after reliver technology was developed, which was around 60 years ago. It sounds like Queen Christine was assassinated by the current king and his daughter. And they took credit for everything she's done, too. I bet there'll be a coup d'etat the moment this goes public. How do you say coup d'etat? I don't know. Anyway. Unlike other countries, the population of Arpachel was quite small. Even if they did use reliver rights to force the people to listen, it would only go so far. I wouldn't be surprised if the people chose Cyan as their savior and had him lead the revolution to bring down the royal family. Cyan's like, listen, you can, use me as your figurehead when you're done, but I don't want to be involved. I'm going to be over here in the corner. You do whatever you got to do, and at the end, if you want to elect me your god savior, sure, fine. But, I'm not getting involved. I'm not doing any heavy lifting here. Come to me after you've won, but not during the battle, Or the planning stages, none of that. But if the royal family found out that we knew about the assassinations and their involvement in the curse, they'd probably use every means at their disposal to get rid of us. We needed to keep ourselves well hidden. You were alive around then, right? Do you know anything about what she was investigating? I was only 5 years old back then, Can't say I remember much, but I'm not surprised about the assassination bit. Why is that? Well, those folks are still sending assassins to Cyan even now. Huh? Wait a minute. Is he alright? No worries there. He always uses their weaknesses to turn the tables and have his revenge. Every time, you forget. I totally forgot about the whole, they're always sending assassins after Cyan. That was a whole plot in the, that was the, some, points that came up in his route, they did actually end up kind of succeeding in chasing him out for a while, but even he brought that up. Oh yeah, no, they're always after me. They're always trying to kill me. But it's just, everyone's so blasé about it. He's got it. Nobody's concerned. We're more concerned about a man we've never met, as she hasn't met yet, you know what I mean, than Dahut and Cyan are about his best friend / himself. You know what I mean? Because they said Dahut first, then you know what I meant. But Dahut's Cyan's got it, and Cyan's yeah, whatever, I'm fine. Those two, This is why I love this game. It's so fucking bonkers. It's bonkers, it's bizarre. I know that there's tragedy and sadness at the end when you get to the route, but the ride there is such a good goddamn time. You know what I mean? You're this is just... Everything is so weird, and it's so fun. Oh my god. And the characters are little nutter butters. I love it so much. I hadn't met Cyan before, but I could tell that he was strong, both physically and mentally. As if wanting to change the subject, Dahut looked at Anko standing quietly in the corner of the room. So, anyone gonna tell me who he is? He's been staring at me and I'm starting to get scared. He's like a ghost, so don't let him bother you. Well, kinda, sorta, That's not helping. I doubt even death would have a strong a presence. Anko's just staring and just standing there like that, not even blinking. Is he actually blinking? Yeah, okay, he's at least blinking. Anko's casual, carefree demeanor was completely absent. He didn't refute Adolphe's remark and continued to stare at Dahut without saying anything. And it's interesting because he's not being jovial, he's not having fun, he's got no expression, so you don't know what Anko thinks of Dahut, so... Because if he was I don't like him, you'd be wait, why? And then you might be a little sus, but if he's oh, he's a great guy, you'd be see, right? No, that's great. Him not saying anything, you're is there something we don't know? Even I was starting to feel uneasy from the intensity of his eyes. I wonder if a young reliver is rare to him. As I thought about why, Dalit cleared his throat so that we could continue the topic at hand.
Well, in any case, the fact that the royal family may be involved in the curse proves one thing: that there's a definite reason why humans here are connected to the curse. As Cyan would put it, no god rules this world, only human wisdom. There's always a reason behind everything. Makes sense, right?
If that's true, that means there's still hope in continuing our investigation.
But we don't have many leads. I guess it's still better than trying to find and kill death itself.
We still hadn't uncovered the truth, but Dalit looked very happy that we found new information about the curse that had long been hidden.
I have to ask, how did you two find the hidden room that contains such valuable information?
About that, I explained to Dalit the strange phenomenon that occurred in the archives, which opened the way to the room underground. When I passed a certain area, a beautiful emblem of light appeared in front of me.
Emblem?
I think it'd be faster if we drew the thing.
Oh, you're right. Like, you could draw that much of that detail? I borrowed a paper and pen from Adolphe and did my best to draw the beautiful design. It looked something like this. I don't have all the details exact, but this should be pretty close. What's strange is I feel like I've seen it before. I passed the drawing to Adolphe. When he nodded in confirmation, I then gave it to Dalit. For some reason, Dalit froze in place. He stared at the drawing from top to bottom as if completely entranced by the image. Is there a problem, Dalit?
You better fucking tell us. Don't leave me anxious and waiting for, like, something. You know something. What? Do you recognize it?
I mean, if he's gonna be like, that's Catherine's liver mark. Okay, I mean, we fucking figured that. Because her diary was buried. You figured it was her hiding stuff. Like, I mean, that was the assumption I made. But does he know anything else? Dalit suddenly snapped back to reality.
Sorry, I've never seen something so beautiful. I guess I just couldn't help but admire it. Liar! What you saw is probably a scanner for a gene authentication system. We have them at the Institute, too.
He knows what that reliver mark... He knows. Honestly, he should be like, it's probably a reliver... He's like, it looks like a reliver mark. Because that's what it is. Gene authentication system. A security system that activates for those who have registered their DNA with the system. He explained that it was the security system where one registered their blood to trigger something to unlock in their presence.
If the authorized parties are reliver, it's usually their mark that appears.
I never knew such an innovative security system existed. My life was so distant from the technology that it felt like it came from another world.
Again, wait till you see puzzles.
Someone was thinking it. You were like waiting for me to say it. You knew. Never gonna get over it.
If it's so advanced, why did it unlock for her?
Maybe it was unlocking for you.
I can't say for sure. Maybe she is the blood of the former queen or something. Just a guess.
But that can't be. My parents gave birth to me in the Lycoris field.
Out in the open?
She was found in the Lycoris field, and we think they abandoned her there.
Field of Lycoris Noirs. Maybe it was the same location where the queen and her supporter met. The other diary mentioned the Noirs family caring for the Lycoris. I'm curious now, with how that flower's constantly brought up.
Do you think the Lycorises are somehow involved? I mean, the death that occurs when you pluck them is similar to the effect of the curse.
Well, I do think the Lycoris Noirs are involved in some way, even if they're not the direct cause. That said, there's no way of testing that since we can't pick the flowers without dying.
He mentions that some have attempted to examine the flowers as a possible reason for the curse, but all attempts failed because after they were plucked, everyone present suffered and died shortly thereafter. But if what even Onko said is true, the Lycoris Noirs weren't the problem. I wanted to express that to Dalit, but Adolphe and I both stayed quiet on the matter since we didn't have Eve's approval to discuss his mission with others. Then again, we couldn't expect him to continue offering support if we kept so much secret from him, including Onko's identity. Well, Onko's kind of keeping his identity secret from you too, sorta, in a way, so. I needed to discuss with everyone later whether we could let him in.
Well, I'm gonna head back to the Institute and see if we have any documents related to the Lycrises.
Thank you, and please be careful. He was very quick to follow the lead we uncovered to confirm or rule out the Lycris's involvement. The thing is, couldn't you kind of unplant one so you're not damaging it, it's in some soil and you put it in a pot and then he takes it back to the institute and puts it in a tank and everything, and then you're doing so, like, even if it spews out its gas or whatever, it's like, well, it's contained in a, like, vacuum basically where the oxygen, whatever, like, it's not going to leak out and get to you. You know what I mean? I'm just saying. You don't have to have a hazmat suit if you put it in, like, a container, right? And do your experiments in it that way. They have the technology, I'm sure. I mean, I get it. They don't know what a puzzle is, so obviously little fucking backwards. But at the same time, they can create clones, so I'm thinking their technology is good enough where they could manage to, do experiments on a flower in an enclosed space that is not in the same space as, you know what I mean? Like in a tube or a tank, they got the flower in there, and then you're like, ooh, doo, 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 using machines to do laparoscopic surgery on, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Like, they could do some kind, they kind of have that kind of technology. Put it in one of the pods. Come on. That would just be too easy, I suppose. After confirming through the transmitter that there was no commotion from the castle, Dahut set off for the Institute. To be safe, Adolphe would be escorting him back as his bodyguard, but hearing his transmitter go off, he quietly headed inside to answer the call, not quietly. We decided to keep the assassination of the queen and her connection to the curse a secret, so that we wouldn't... Connections to the curse a secret so that wouldn't be in danger. I'm assuming so that we wouldn't be in danger, but...
I think it's a good idea to get someone you can trust to help, but I'm guessing that description only matches Eve at Karun.
From your perspective, is Cyan trustworthy?
Depends. I'm not sure. It'll depend on whether he's more interested in reliver research or learning the truth behind the curse. Before I leave, I think the gene authentication scanner may have activated because of a malfunction, but can I take a sample of your blood just in case? Even if you're not royalty, you might be related to someone at the castle.
Dahut's profession must have him ready for anything, as he brought out a medical kit from his pouch for taking blood samples. I think he's genuinely asking for this reason, like, it probably malfunctioned, but I'm curious about your relation to whoever at the castle. But also, he recognized the mark, I'm pretty sure. You know what I mean? And he could have just said, I'm pretty sure that's, like, Catherine's mark or whatever. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, he recognized it, is all I'm saying. And he could have just, instead of be like, wow, no, I've never seen anything that pretty, he could have just been like, no, it's got to be a reliver mark, though. Looks just like one. I feel like he knows who it is. And I'm surprised that he hit it, so there's got to be something else to it. Because he could have just said, oh, that was Catherine's reliver mark. Because, if he knew it. You know what I mean? Because that's already my assumption. So that wouldn't have been surprising. The fact that he didn't say that means that he knows something else about it that's an extra added layer to it than just, oh, that's the Queen's mark type of a thing. And I don't think him asking about a blood sample here is shady, like, I'm gonna do, like, you know what I mean? I think he's really genuinely like, it was probably a malfunction, but I'm curious if you're related to the Queen somehow, and that could be an added, you know what I mean? It's like, ooh, scientific mystery. I don't think he's like, I want to take your blood because, like, I think that, you know what I mean? Like, we know that she is a plant girl hybrid type thing, and we know that everyone thinks she's death, and, like, but I don't think Dahut's at that level with, like, oh, you're death, and I'm curious, and science experiment. I'm asking you, and saying it's for one reason when it's really for anything nefarious. But I'm curious to what Anko is, if Anko's going to jump in and be like, but chicken, no! Or if he's even here. Oh, I hadn't any blood drawn out from me since I was little, when Mother had me take some tests to see if I had any diseases. But the thing is like, if Mother had drawn our blood, and I'm gonna guess when we were little there was, because if she had given it to Cyan, right, they would have already known. Because he already knew who we were, you know? I wasn't too fond of those needles, but I should offer him my... No, dear princess. I knew Anko was going to object. No matter how small, you mustn't lay a scratch on your beautiful skin. Anko quietly moved next to me and stopped me from extending my arm. It's interesting that he's stopping us from doing this. But I have a feeling it's probably... Because here's the thing. He wants us to figure out the curse and the problem and whatever. And the curse is that the land... How it got here. But the land is poison. The flowers are clearing the poison. So are we. But I'm going to guess that a lot of what he was trying to stop us from doing in some of the other routes, like, no, never Cyan. No, God, no. Because Cyan was going to experiment on us. You know what I mean? And he's like, no, please don't. And, like, this is like, okay, even though Dahud's asking for just a totally basic reason, like, ooh, I want to see if you're related to anyone at the castle. That's kind of interesting. He's going to find out that we're, like, a plant-girl hybrid, and Anko's trying to prevent that because doesn't want us involved in the experimentation process. And maybe he's seen, obviously, I mean, we know, but, like, we're supposed to be taking this as if this is the only path we've ever been on. Right? Maybe he's seen some other things. Like, let's just say we as the player have never played any of the other routes. Those never happened. This is the only route ever. He's seen other realities, and maybe we have been experimented on. He's like, no, you know? I mean, we've seen it. We know that Cyan was going to before he kind of fell for us. We know we buried ourselves alive, and they were going to do that with our clones and shit like that in Eve's route. So, like, Anko's like, I've seen some shits. I don't want that to happen. And it's interesting that he doesn't trust Dahud. But Dahud is a scientist. Even if he's your friendly neighborhood Mr. Rogers right now, doesn't mean that his science background is not going to override his friendly neighborhood guy. You know what I mean? You know, you don't know, so... Oh, did I read that? Anko quietly moved next to me and stopped me from extending my arm. Dahud and I looked at him in surprise. Anko gracefully moved in front of me and took a step toward Dahud. Like before, he stared at Dahud's face again.
Excuse me, is there something on my face?
Dahud frowned, probably because he sensed something was different about Anko based on his appearance and presence. Who are you? I do not recall him. Something. A young man like you. Something. Ooh. Him. Oh, what could he possibly be saying? I don't recall him. It's 4 letters. Blank, a young man like you. Before could be the last one. A young man like you before. But why would that be blocked out? You know what I mean? Huh. It's I mean, I understand names and certain things, but this, I'm trying to figure out what could fucking possibly be in this sentence that's blocked out. Like, I know they're never going to unredact it, but my curiosity, like, later, it's going to be like, oh, when the queen tells you her son's name, you find out the son's name, you're like, oh, okay, yeah, that was redacted. Or you find out, okay, obviously we know Noirge was blocked out, and that's the last name of Eve's family. Okay, I get it. But this, like, what the fuck could possibly be here? Blank, a young man like you, blank. Interesting.
Huh?
Anko tilted his head in bewilderment while mumbling to himself. Who is he? But he already introduced himself.
Oh, maybe he forgot. I thought it was a name that was easy to remember.
Unless Dahut's hiding shit.
Oh my god.
What? I'm trying to formulate thoughts. Like, because Anko's like, who are you? Because I don't remember you. But then again, like, Adolphe had never met Dahut before this. So like, so it's not like, Eve's here hanging out and Anko's like, I don't remember you, motherfucker. We've never met Dahut before. So it would make sense that Anko wouldn't know Dahut from like the Adolphe memories, right? But Anko's been around and seen other things, so how has he never come across Dahut before? So that makes me wonder what Dahut's hiding now. Uncle, don't make me doubt our little starshine! We love Dahut, don't make him sus! Stop it! No! We went through Cyan's route and he came out at the end still a little beacon of starlight, okay? Don't mess it up now. Like, every other route we've gone through, we're like, oh, Mathis and John. John is evil! What are you talking about? Lucas and we knew Capucine was going to be like a psychopath. We kind of already knew that. You're like, hey, you're already. And Hugo is still a good boy, but he was kind of mean and awful. He was a bit of a dick because he was just jealous. But, like, he still is like, it's okay, Hugo, I get it. It's fine. Hugo gets a pass. Okay? And then we killed him, which is just horrible. But you know what I mean? Like, and, like, Dahut would have had to have, was basically, like, Cyan's dark shadow. You know what I mean? Like, the secondary dark character in that. And all he did was, like, I mean, not gonna go against the royal family, gonna use this for my advantage type of a thing. And it wasn't, that's not even super shady. It's like, I mean, he really doesn't have the option to go against the royal family. He's like, even if he wanted to, he wasn't plotting against Cyan. He just used it for his advantage. Can't really blame him for that. You know what I mean? Like, not everyone's gonna be noble and be like, no, he is my best friend and I believe in him. He's like, I mean, with you out of the picture, I can get my research done. So, like, I mean, and then, like, I don't want to die. So, like, I believe in you, bro. If you come back, that's cool. But otherwise, I mean, and he didn't do it in, like, a super shady, douchey way where you're like, I can never love you again. You're like, no, okay. It's realistic and human. And then he felt awful about it and disappeared afterwards. So, but, like, he's always still been little sparkly beacon, and he's always been good. And, like, and you can't make him bad now. It'll be the biggest bamboozle in this game. Literally. That would be a bigger bamboozle than them being like, Adolphe and Anko are the same person the whole fucking time. And be like, okay, yeah, sure, good, yeah, okay. But, like, Dahut being, like, the greatest evil ever? Fuck, what? I'm throwing that out there now, and I'm like, yeah, no, I don't believe that. You can't do that. Oh, no! Oh, God. Alright, anyway, I don't know where they're going with this, but, like, fuck, man. Anko didn't respond and continued to silently stare at Dahut's face until... I suppose it's nothing of concern. He must be one of the children who survived beyond something, 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 due to the something. Oh. Interesting. Must be one of the children who survived beyond beep due to the beep. And that's a lot of letters. Okay. I don't know. I can't even. Huh? What did you just say? Uncle nodded. So that makes it sound like... Okay. Something else. Okay, there's definitely something going on in Dahut's past we don't know about. Interesting, intriguing. He quietly headed back into the house as if satisfied by the answer he gave to his own question. It's like, why did half of what he said get redacted? The fuck is that? Who speaks in redacted? Uncle's intervention muddled the request to have my blood sampled. Probably weirded out over the interaction, Dodd quickly left with Adolphe as soon as he returned. I want to ask. Oh, but like, you can't ask Ongo, like, the fuck was that? Because are we gonna get like, oh, okay, it's other, please. I need it to be in Dahut's mind so we hear some shit.
Adolphe, may I ask why you're reluctant to become a reliver?
Where'd that come from? They cautiously made their way to the Institute. Adolphe frowned for a moment at the young man's question, but he calmly responded as they continued walking. If you're going to ask me a personal question, answer me something first. Why did you agree to help us find a way to break the curse?
Well, like I said before, I'm curious as a researcher, and
don't underestimate me, Dahut. Dahut actually shady and lying. Oh my god. I can't handle it! A reliver with a young appearance is often treated like a child, regardless of their age. I'm sure you've gone through a lot to get where you are. And I doubt you'd risk the position you worked so hard to earn just for the sake of curiosity. There must be another reason for his decision. Okay, I mean, he can have other reasons that he's just not sharing, and he's just trying to...
That's it. I don't think you'll be able to get rid of the curse, even with my help. If it were that simple, Cyan would have figured it out ages ago.
Then, why are you going to help us?
Call it pure intellectual curiosity. I've been researching memory all this time and haven't even touched the curse. Besides, I've been seeing the curse in a new light ever since I met Nadia. So I'll help you if it means things can improve. In return, I ask you stay friends with Nadia, even without a work order.
Are you going to sit there and be like, I never cared before, but Nadia doesn't deserve to die, and you're doing this because you're actually a wholesome little bean? Okay, because the game's trying to make you look shady, and I don't like it. I don't like it. I want him to stay his wholesome little bean self. He's not fully wholesome. Because, I mean, obviously, he's still a human. And he's been around for a while, and so he still has, like, selfish motivations. We saw that in Science Route. But, like, generally, you could still be wholesome and be a little selfish now and then, okay? He still genuinely fits in the wholesome box in the Venn diagram, okay? He spoke as if he wasn't directly involved, but I take it the real reason is because of Lucas's younger sister, Nadia. And she's worried about her brother's approaching death, too. After Adolphe calmly explained his reason, Dahut shrugged. A shrug of acceptance and surrender.
Bingo. But I wasn't really trying to hide it, you know? I was just a bit embarrassed, that's all.
Embarrassed?
Well, you see, when I first met her...
You're trying to tell me that you've got a little crush? Which is weird, because you're like a 50-year-old man in a child's body, so...
Thank goodness. He wasn't seeing anything strange then,
or he just is like, I feel for this child! I hope that's what it is.
I wonder why everyone always laughs when I tell them my wish. Our memories, our bodies, our lives. Is it so strange to not want to lose it all? I don't want to become a reliver and lose the love I feel for my brother or the hands he held before. But living such a short life is sad too. There's still a lot I want to do, like see him find a good person he can marry. With my help like this, he won't live to be 23.
Look, you live to be 13, Jesus.
Why? Everyone else is healthy and free to live life how they want. So why doesn't anyone want to live a long life? The same one they've had from the beginning. Rather than living half a life, scared of an invisible curse for the rest of eternity, I want to live a full life of my own, with someone special to me.
He's like moved, like this innocent girl like has it all together and the rest of us have totally fallen off the boat here.
Yeah. She told me the way to live a proper life as a human.
In a country with extreme views on life, very few people had opinions like Nadia's. When they did speak up, they were ridiculed for their ideals and thought and thought of as heretics for not worshipping the current system. And, like, you have to think that, like, perchance, somewhere inside, it's not that Nadia was just like, I just think we should live long, happy lives. And he was like, click, oh my God. You know, you've converted me. You have to think somewhere inside that perhaps Dahut's had those thoughts and, like, questions before, like, is this really right? Anyway, back to fixing the memory thing. Like, he's trying to fix the memory system in people so that people can retain their emotions. So there's obviously something in him that is like, hey, we can't fix the curse of death anyway. I'm going to work on this problem because I can handle this. That's another problem for another day. But if we can at least get people to retain their memories and emotions, then they can still live better lives as humans. And yeah, they might only live 23 years, but then when they become relivers, they still retain those emotions. And that's in a similar track to what Nadia wants. Like, she wants people to just live long, happy lives and not have to have fake bodies. But the problem at hand, that's a huge fucking problem. Figuring the curse out and everything is a huge fucking problem. Dahut's on the, like, other track of, like, yeah, we got relivers and everything's great and people are living past the curse, but, like, how do we retain human emotions to stay more closely related to the human bodies we left behind when we relive? So it's not that their thought processes are completely different. You know what I mean? So, like, there's something in him that agrees with what she's saying, and her just saying it and expressing it is like, you know, that's actually, like, technically what I want deep down, but I'm just working on the surface level of making our clone bodies keep our emotions. But if I dig down further, then yeah, exactly what you're saying would be the perfect scenario and the perfect solution. I'm just working on a band-aid. You know what I mean? So, like, and Cyan's like, we can relive for 23 years, fuck emotions, who cares? But Dahut has always wanted you to be a little bit more human. You know? So, it's like his thought process, like, she's unearthing thoughts, and he's like, actually, yeah, I mean, you're right. You're right. Like, because it's kind of like you're trying to think of a solution to a problem, you're just at the top level, and someone's like, well, here's the underlying problem, and you're like, yeah, you're right. Sometimes it takes another person to tell you their perspective for you to go, yeah, I was just thinking surface level, but when you dig down, yeah, you're right. You're right, and actually, I'm with you. You know? And also, she's has strong convictions, she's not afraid of it. And he's probably always been afraid. And even like Adolphe just said, you are super fucking young as a reliver, even though you're a researcher. You've had to fight against that all the time. So why would he then also think the same way as Nadia? He's already had one battle, being like, I'm fucking 15, even though I'm 50 in here. I'm in a 15-year-old body, so it's really fucking obnoxious trying to get people to take me seriously as a researcher, even though I'm a fucking genius. And I've been doing this for decades longer than these fuckers have ever been alive. And so, like, that's your main concern. You're not thinking about deep down inside that what Nadia said is like, actually, yeah, I do agree with you there. You're like, I got a whole other problem. I can't do both. You can't be, like, a complete social pariah. You know what I mean? So even if, like, deep down inside he's like, yeah, no, I agree with Nadia. He's like, I had one battle to deal with. This is not it. But if there's other people willing to fight that battle, I'm going to kind of help them because I don't disagree. You know? I'm going to keep my mouth shut and stay in my corner still at the same time. So, and now you can't. Now that it's like, see, look at him. He's just like, you can't take that away and say he's actually shady and evil. You can't fucking do it. I will be so mad. It'll be genius, but I'll be so mad. Biggest bamboozle of the century. If he turns out to be anything other than our little beacon of starshine, okay? Anything other than that, and like, I don't know. I don't even know how I'm gonna handle that, so. But this desire was very similar to the wish Spacey expressed.
To be honest, my mother passed away without a backup. I became a researcher in the hopes of bringing her back to life. She
didn't have a backup. But if you don't have her memories or her genes, becoming a reliver is...
Yeah, impossible.
Still, he didn't want to give up. If there was some way he could revive his mother's genes and memories, then perhaps...
I wanted to revive her with the love she felt for me and all the memories we shared together.
Like, so, secretly he's working on the memory thing because he's a little crazy. But he's kept that to himself. I mean, he's always said, I want to bring my mom back. And it's like, how are you? But nobody's ever asked, how are you going to do that? Just with wishes and unicorns. I can understand why you didn't say that to people.
And even if I couldn't revive my mother, I wanted to help other families and lovers who had the same wish. If I could somehow transfer a person's emotions into their memory, the relivers we make would be complete. Like you said, even though I became friends with Nadia, it still isn't right, is it?
Isn't right?
Even if I could transfer emotions, the body that experienced wonderful things would eventually succumb to the curse. For example, I shook hands with Nadia when we became friends, but in a few years this hand will be replaced with a new one. That's pretty sad, don't you think?
I mean, okay. Dahut, I just want to explain this to you. Yes, you shook hands with Nadia, and in a few years you're going to get a clone body. But, like, every 7 years your body regenerates all of its cells and all that shit like that. So, like, technically, and your skin cells on the palm of your hand right now when you shake someone's hand, I'm pretty sure eventually, like, your skin cells die off and whatever. So, technically, your hand that shook that person's hand, even within that 7 years before your body regenerates all of its shit anyway, is, you know, not the same hand that shook their hand. If you think about in the science concept. So most people don't think of that though. So like, you know, I think I was reading somewhere people are like that people use that like the fact that your body basically like, and obviously like you shed skin cells. You know, that's what like the whole point of loofah, get your dead skin cells off and whatever. I'm like, that's a natural part of being human. And everything that, like, basically it's like you're reborn every 7 fucking years. So that, like, if something horrible happened to you, 7 years later, it's like, now you're new again. So whatever happened in the past, you can, like, that's some people's way of working through trauma and stuff like that. And it's like, that's actually kind of, like lovely to think that if that's what helps you get through things like that is like, you know what? It's been 10 years since something horrible and tragic happened to me, but you know what? All my cells and skin and everything, 10 years, not there anymore. I'm like a whole new person. So that horrible person that did horrible things to me, didn't touch me right now. Like, fuck, that's kind of powerful if you think about it. But like, so, I mean, and I don't know how long it takes your skin cells on your hand, or it's like, but like, that's why you can develop allergies that you never had. Or, like, you have allergies, you get, like, because your body is constantly changing. So, like, technically, even if you didn't get a clone body, the hand that shook her hand is not the same hand that shook her hand after a certain period of time. So, you know, I suppose you could say, like, if you go and scrub your hands and you use, like, scrubby hand soap, like, are all the layers, the dead skin cells on the top, like, when does that top layer of skin slough off your head? That sounds disgusting, but seriously. So, like, is it like 2 days? Is it 2 months? Is it a year? Like, when does it? I'm just saying. So, like, that's just like a stupid way to think about it, Dahut, because that happens naturally anyway. So, but like, I get we're not supposed to. Is this where we're the part of the science that we're not supposed to think about? We're like, well, that's stupid because your body's going to do that naturally. But you don't really think about that logically when you think about your daily normal life, even if they knew that. Which I'm going to guess they don't, because while they can make clone bodies, they don't know about puzzles. So I'm going to guess the whole regeneration and like this curse kills off your chromosomes. And I don't think that's... And Eve died for half an hour and yet has no brain damage. So like, you know. So apparently that's not how it works in this universe, but how often do you think to yourself, like, you know, oh, I've regenerated every cell in my body after X amount of time. So, like, it's not like a normal thing. That just sounds like something out of sci-fi, but it's the way your body works.
So, like, something like that. But you know what I mean? Like, so, you know, Dot doesn't really make a difference. But I guess it's more the thought that counts, but your thoughts are wrong. Me trying to take something that is, like, touching and meaningful to him and be like, well, you're wrong and stupid, so... Oh, God. But, I mean, theoretically, like, his whole point for this is like, I mean, should we tell him? Let's not. Anyway, that's pretty sad, don't you think? It's pretty sad that you're a researcher and you don't know how shit works. But then again, people in this world don't know puzzles, except for science, so... Yeah, I don't want to lose the hand I used to pat Spacey's head, either. What happens if your hand got chopped off in an accident? Are you just gonna, like, roll over and die? Like, accidents happen. I get the point they're trying to make, but it's kind of being done in a very ridiculous way, if you think about it. Like, I get it, but also, like, I get it. You have a weird, irrational attachment to things. It's not like, I mean, for us, normal people, to lose your hand or your leg or something, like, I get why you have an emotional attachment to it, because your leg is never going to grow back. And a prosthetic leg is not your leg. You know what I mean? Like, you can learn to work around it, but it's still, you're missing a limb that you were born with. You know what I mean? So I get that. These guys, it's like, well, you just get a whole new body. Like, oh, so it's weird in that sense. But I guess I kind of get it, but at the same time, not really. Because again, technically, if I didn't see you for a certain period of time, that hand is different. So, they're trying to make it touching, but it's like, I don't know. Anyway, hey, whatever works for them, I guess. Donald smiled happily, saying that Adolphe agreed with the sentiment.
If I'm gonna revive my mother, I want her to return with all her emotions so she can live the kind of full life Nadia envisioned.
Again, I don't know how you're gonna do that, but...
That's why I want to get rid of the curse. Well, I guess it's mostly for my own selfishness.
Hey, that's fine. I figured as much. But it's good that you've changed your outlook. I happen to agree with you.
Thank you very much. My mother was just like Nadia. She was an unusual person who sought to become a normal human. And I guess that's the reason why what she said really hit me hard.
Charlotte looked up at the moon, remembering the past, as Adolphe nodded in agreement. I could see that too, like Nadia, what she was expressing kind of just reminded Dalhood of his mother, so it kind of just spurred a little change in it. You know, I mean, I get that. Dalhood, too. He's been researching ways to transfer the emotion of love during the reliver process. Befriending Nadia strengthened his desire to bring back his mother as a normal human being with her full range of emotions and a normal lifespan.
Now it's your turn, Adolphe. Why are you so against becoming a reliver?
I kind of almost still wish, though, that Dahut was, like, Salome's son. That would have been cooler. Especially because he's thinking my mom died, but then you don't know that she's actually alive. And, like, because Salome's the queen, though, pretty sure. That would have just been a crazy fucking twist. But now it's going to be like, but her son's name had 4 letters, so... Anyway.
Is it similar to what the society says? Or lack of funds? Or are you concerned about retaining your emotions like I am?
No, it's way simpler. After some hesitation, Adolphe responded in exchange for Dahut's honesty. It's scary putting your life in the hands of unfamiliar technology. Like cloning yourself, then sucking out the memories from your brain. I don't even know how that's possible. It's like, I mean, I can show you. The sound of their footsteps gradually shifted in the silence that followed Adolphe's response. I get that. I mean, like, Adolphe's like, it's kind of like fucking weird and I'm a little scared of it. It's kind of like getting, like, laser surgery for your eyes. It's like, that would be awesome that I wouldn't have to worry about contacts or anything, but you're going to put a laser in my motherfucking eye. They have to slice open your fucking eye. Okay, this is not like a normal surgery where you can't see it happen. It's your eye. How do you not see you with your eyes?
But yet at the same time, anytime I've had anything done with my eyes, or like my doctor numbs it and then he does the poke test, because like I have ocular hypertension, so sometimes the air puff test is not enough. They do where they numb your eye and they literally like poke your eye, like to test the pressure of your actual eye. They like actually touch it physically, not with their fingers, but you know what I mean, with a machine. But I'm like, and I think about it when that's happening, and I'm like, you can't tell because your vision can't focus on something that close to you, so you don't actually see it. So a scalpel and a laser and all that would be like, I would never even know. So like, I don't know why it freaks me out. Like, there's a thing in my eye, but yet it does, and that's always like, oh, thing in my eye. Also, the temporarily going blind, possibly, because a friend of mine had it done, and I was like, he's like, you don't want me to tell you what happened, and he's like, I went blind, and I'm like, oh no. I'd want him to be like, do one eye, then wait, but they don't. They like do one eye, and then they do like, and if I wanted to get my hypertension taken care of, they, thank God, would only do one eye at a time. Like, they can only do one eye one day, and they can't do both at the same time. I'm like, oh, thank God. Because I'm like, well, like, if I went blind in one eye, I could manage. Like, I mean, my depth perception would suck, but I can't go blind in both eyes. Like, I don't, no. Can't fucking do that. I would be the person that went, no, I won't go blind. So I'm with Adolphe that, like, shit could be scary. Okay, no thanks. You know? But anyway, Dodd's laughing at him.
Are you serious? That's the most normal reason I've heard yet. And here I thought your reasoning was more complex than that.
Their footsteps came to a halt with Dahood's roaring laughter.
Yeah, sorry for being so normal.
He's like, I don't want to come back because there's no need for me to, because I'm immune to the curse and I'm going to live forever. The ethics of becoming a reliever, the issue of transferring emotions, the desire to live like those in the outside world, none of it mattered. For Adolphe, he bristled at the thought of becoming a reliever in the same way that a child resisted going to the doctor. After decades, the technology that he was afraid of had become a natural part of life.
It's the first time I've met someone who didn't want to become a reliever for such a simple reason.
Despite that,
well, that's totally fine. I mean, it's good to talk to at least one person who thinks like a normal person.
And stop calling me normal already. I know that's not a compliment.
Adolphe knew exactly how normal he was, and that he lacked the power to protect Spacey. It had bothered Adolphe for some time now.
Don't let it bother you. Heck, being normal in this country is actually something special. I actually like people who think like you, Adolphe.
As a researcher, perhaps he should be more indignant. In actuality, Dahoud was unexpectedly pleased by such a straightforward reason. A short while later, Adolphe returned from escorting Dahoud safely back to the Institute and told me everything that happened. I see, Dahoud's thinking about his mother too. But I never expected that to be the reason you didn't want to become a reliever, Adolphe. So much has happened since then. I guess we haven't had much time to talk about it.
Do you think I'm heartless? And that my refusal isn't because I don't want to lose my emotions for you?
You must mean the same reason why Lucas and Nadia had given up on extending their lives. Yeah, but his emotions are different, but sure. Their decision was to be respected, but it was also a very sad decision to make. Of course not. I mean, I am surprised, but Adolphe, what you think and feel belong to you. I don't have the right to change that. Actually, I'm relieved that you have your own reasons, because you're always putting me in the orphanage first. Adolphe was simply scared of becoming a reliever, not because he had a bias against them. There was no reason to believe he was heartless.
Thanks.
Adolphe's tension dissipated when he heard my honest response.
But don't get me wrong. Whatever my reason for not becoming a reliever, it doesn't change the fact that you're more important to me than anything.
Really, Adolphe, after what I just said, I wanted him to think about his own happiness for a change, but you are his happiness, dumbass! Sorry, just had to yell at her. Oh, she'll hear eventually. Noticing that our conversation hadn't been interrupted, Adolphe began looking around the room.
Where's Unko? I don't see him here.
He needed to go back to Hades to rest since he stayed in the overworld for too long. He only left a short while ago. I was going to ask him whether I could disclose his identity to Dahut, but he said he didn't have time.
Selfish as usual. Well, I bet he'll pop out of nowhere whenever he's ready.
I wonder if he's taking care of other business. With that, Adolphe got changed and sat down comfortably on his bed now that it wasn't cramped. Tonight we'll be visited by 3 spirits.
The clock bell just makes me think of fucking Scrooge.
It's so quiet. Things have been really noisy since Anko decided to stay with us.
I can relax now. I hope he doesn't come back.
Oh, don't be like that. Why are you so cold toward Anko after all the time we've spent together?
Who knows? I don't know why, but just looking at him irritates me.
So you've just taken a dislike to him? That's like something the children would do. You know, it's funny though. He's like, just looking at him irritates me. And like, him looking at you irritates him too. You looking in a mirror irritates you. It's fun. Kind of fun. Then again, I had a feeling Anko also disliked Adolphe on the same basis. Right? It's just this internal hate for yourself. It's interesting. Anyway, the house felt cramped with the 3 of us, but now it felt very spacious. I hope Anko returns quickly. I know it's strange, but I actually want to see them together again and argue over the smallest things. I want my man harem back. My loneliness went away sooner than I thought.
Hello there. My name is Mathis Claude.
We've never met Mathis before in this route.
My butler Jean went to Karun and heard that you were here to set up a plan to capture Boro. So would it be possible for me to join too?
Huh?
Early the next morning, we saw a car stop in front of the house, so Adolphe got up to see what was going on.
This place is much smaller than the Institute. I suppose I can bear it for a few days.
I was gonna laugh when Cyan popped in, but now it's like my brain is like, we're all of a sudden, this is our plan to get, like, what happened in the common route of the rest of the main game, and we're just doing it so much later in this. But, like, our... What did I just, like, I miss my man harem, and here they all come. Okay, alright. I know this game is depressing and traumatic, but god damn it, so funny at times. Oh god.
Huh? Excuse me, but who are you?
A lethargic-looking man in a white lab coat entered the house without permission, carrying books and other materials.
At least Mathis introduced himself.
Eve's here too.
Wait, where do you think you're going, Eve?
Whoa! Adolphe mercilessly grabbed Eve's shoulder as he tried to sneak away.
What is going on here? Why are all these strangers coming into my house?
Well, sorry, but there's a really good reason why this is happening. We were planning on capturing Boro and had a conversation about where we could set up our base of operations. So I sort of mentioned your house being on the outskirts of town and how comfy it is when I come here, so...
So what else did you mention?
Things started moving before I can ask you. Cyan made his decision and had his stuff in the car before we could stop him.
Eve gave an apologetic explanation, and I noticed the stack of belongings behind him. Eve is such a fucking idiot.
Oh, he's an adorable fucking idiot. He really is a goddamn labradoodle. He's like, look, I brought you friends! And Adolphe's like, what the fuck were you thinking? He's like, they're friend-shaped. But, like, you didn't want them? Well, it's too late now. You have them. You own them. They're yours. Anyway, bye!
Huh? Cyan? It can't be that Cyan Brofist? Astonished, I look back at the man who came in, whereas Adolphe...
Eve.
Yes?
Kneel over there with your back straight. Don't move until I tell you. Got it?
Later, Eve ended up lying down on the floor crying as his legs were cramped. Adolphe didn't tell him to move at all.
He's like, you're lucky I don't fucking beat the shit out of you. Oh.
We're going to get into our fucking man harem next time, so... This part was kind of... Well, it was the normal length part, but it was short in the amount we recorded because there was a lot of, like, conjecture and chatting on my end, obviously, but whatever. So rambling, I guess. I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.